Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of the NFL review. Joined, as always, Justin's returning this week. Last week was out due to a health issue.
Not COVID.
Welcome back. Rob's here. Rob Bradley, Wilson Survey Jr. Again, that's Justin Walters. All right, NFL review, man. We're going to take a quick look at the prospective teams that we root for, see how they did this past week. Some people more happy than others. Might be a therapy session for two of the three of us. And then, we'll take a look into next week's. So, again, thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget, we got time. It's fine. Feel free to engage if you want us to look at your team from the past week. Just say something in the comments. We will happily do so. But we don't want to take time going through all the games. If you're already over it, why should we? You're already over it. So we might as well let it go too, right? All right, so Robert Justin. Rob. Where are we, sir, with all this week?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, wow. Doesn't matter. Wow.
So you want me to start first?
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. Sorry, I heard you. I was trying to just get my thoughts together. Okay. So, so that 5-1 record we saw was not a real 5-1. Clearly, I mean, everybody had their questions about it to begin with in the first place, which is understandable. I get it, but there's no way in the world this can be a playoff team if we can't score more than 3 points. Like that was just a terrible display all the way around on the offensive side of the ball. I know everybody has their gripes about the defense and tackling and things like that, but the defense is what honestly is keeping us in these games, period. And if you're watching these games, you understand why I say that, because yes, they give up a lot of yards, but they don't give up a lot of touchdowns. The Rams only scored 24 points. Okay, could have been a whole lot worse. It could have been a whole lot worse if the defense, didn't do what they did. But we have to be able to score points on the other side of the ball, which we're not able to do. 3 points in that game is not going to get it. I know the ending score was 24-10, but 7 of those points came from the defense. So we got to rely on our defense to get us touchdowns. Then we're in a real bad position. I talked to Wilson just 2 days ago in regards to that Bears game and the things that I saw as far as Nagy and his play calling and some of the personnel issues. And I was baffled because I'm going, if we're sitting at home on our couch and the consensus across America when they're watching that game is, why you run that? That's a problem. You're in the red zone. You take out your biggest target in Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet, and then you put in the third string tight end in, and then you throw it to the smallest guy in the field on the corner route. Like, what are we doing right now? Like the play call itself was bad. The throw was even worse because he threw it into double coverage, which Foles did that a lot in that game. He threw a lot of balls in the deep coverage, in the double coverage that game, which is just not. It's not what we need. It's not what we're looking for. And I'm not going to sit here and continue to blame the pieces that we have and things like that. Some of these are the play calls, and some of these are just quarterback play. I know a lot of people around Chicago, man, we might as well watch Mitch. I'm not ready to go back there. I don't want Maserati or Mazda Mitch. I don't want none of that. I want a competent quarterback to run the offense and at least put points on the board. That's all we're asking for as fans who watch these games. And they make it tough, man. They make it tough. This has been, even though I kind of had a feeling this was going to be a tough game for the Bears. I picked the Bears to win, but I didn't expect for the offense to look as bad as it did. Like, they look really bad. Really bad. And then we're running the ball right at Aaron Donald, making his job a whole lot easier, which don't understand that. Nothing's going outside. Everything's going to 99. Let's just keep running at this guy. Maybe we can wear him down, I guess, was the game plan. So, I don't know. You tell me what you guys think.
You can go ahead, Justin.
They just kind of got their butt kicked, really, if you really think about it. But it's a good team, and they just played down. Like, I think maybe Foles is at backup quarterback. I think that's maybe a reset. Put Mitch back in there. Let him lose a little bit. Maybe Foles comes back and with that charge again. They're in a good spot where, unfortunately, they're in a spot where you have to like count down games. Okay, we got 6 wins. Is there a way we could steal 3 more to get 9 and sneak in the playoffs? That's not where you want to be if you're really trying to win. But you got a good head start with the 5 or 6 wins. So now you're at a point where you just, okay, can we get the next one? Hey, who can we steal one against? But the problem is with them is none of the wins have been where you like we've dominated. They've dominated from beginning to end. It's all been like, wow, man, we pulled that out. Like you can't live that way. So it was bound to catch up with you. And I think that's where they're at right now.
Yeah, having sat through something a little similar, obviously I think that, at the time the team had a little bit more success. But like the Harbaugh Balky years where you had your GM and a coach on totally polar opposite pages of how you go about building a team and the pieces that you go to it and the pieces you use to assemble it. Like it's, I want to be a power running football team, right? Let me go get you a left tackle that can only play in space while you're running in between the tackles. We want to go downfield. Let's keep drafting and acquiring possession wide receivers, not anything to stretch the field, right? And then I just feel like it's kind of a tough thing with Nagy and this is where I think, some teams where I think sometimes it's better to just when you go get a new coach, sometimes man, just go get the new GM too. Don't keep part of the old thing with the new part. Like just cut it clean and then have them go forward, right? Because we've seen so many times where people try to do that patchwork thing, like, well, we got rid of the coach. Maybe a new coach will work better with you. Both y'all didn't work. Why are we doing this? Like, for me, honestly, you drafted Mitch. We're done, dog. Like, there's nothing to talk about. I don't care about any of your other ideas,
Right.
Anything you think of. That one idea right there, it set us back. Every other dude, every other signal caller, potential MVP candidate, you took that. I don't care about your other ideas. I don't care about anything else you have to say. Like he should have, as soon as you were like, I'm not picking up Mitch's option, or honestly, when you got rid of the coach, you should have got rid of dude. Like we're done. That was a horrible decision. And then now, and I'm not trying to absolve Nagy from any of this because it's like, you are the coach. You got to make the best of what's going on. And I agree with you, Rob, in some situations, he probably could do a little bit better. But at the same time, if you went through the interview process and you talked to the dude and you like, where his mind was offensively or whatever, but then you don't go get the pieces for him to do, for what he sees to come to fruition, what are we doing? Like, I can't really get too mad at him. That's not what he envisioned. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. A perfect example. So about our Washington football team, I despise their play caller. But they got rid of people, they went and did stuff in favor of their play caller. I don't agree with any of it, but they chose their play caller or whatever, and they bought into making sure he had his pieces, whether he succeeds or fails. And that's the only, parallel I'm trying to make is that. And then you got y'all's situation where I have no idea what Nagy would like to do because he doesn't have the pieces to do any of the things that he would like to do. We knew where he came from, and none of the stuff that y'all do look like that. Man, none of the pieces look like that. Rob, you and I were talking like David Montgomery looks like he fits better with the different offensive line. So you got a clash there. Some of the wide receivers here and there is like, and then even then, the quarterback play just might be the most damning part of it. Is maybe some of the pieces do match, but the signal caller is so bad between both of them. You got one dude who only likes to, go big or go home downfield with the throws. You got the other dude who just can't play. And, Justin, you and I were talking recently with some of these younger coaches, and we liken it to basketball, not to rehash the whole conversation we had where some of these coaches are living in the mid-range area of the field, right? And, kind of basketball, everybody's into the layup or threes. And some of these young coaches, they're thriving. And, it's running the football in the middle of the field, running the football middle of the field. If the deep shot's there, I'll take it, but I'm not about to live by it, right? And then Nagy might be that type, but you don't have a quarterback that can live in the middle of the field. Neither one of them dudes can. So like you got, and that's the thing. Maybe even looking at the pieces, maybe it's just a quarterback. Because like you got Allen Robinson, right? That's like you could possibly use him on all three levels. Anthony Miller, you could possibly use him on all three levels, but none of the signal callers in Chicago use the middle of the field. So like dudes running slants, dudes running digs. That ball never get there. It either doesn't get thrown, they sit and hold on to the ball, or they throw prayers that 70 yards downfield to dudes who don't run 4-3. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it could just be the signal caller. But either way, again, Ryan Pace, get him out of there.
But you know what? An interesting question I have is like, there's no real identity, and like the success I've seen them have is usually when they're down. You know, when you're trying to that's when you kind of scrap the playbook. You know, like even Mitch had success when it was, you know, your 2-minute drill or, you know, where it's kind of just free flowing. But when you're actually depending on your coach, who's the play caller, that's when they seem to struggle. You know, which is kind of odd, which kind of shows there is talent there. You know, when they decide, hey, like, you know, we got to pass every play and get back in this game. You know, the late comebacks, and that's most of their wins have come from kind of stealing the wins late. So I think that kind of says something about, you know, it's a solid roster. So maybe the issue is the coach and the play calling.
I mean, and that's the fun part. So again, we still don't have a clear answer for you.
No, not at all.
But go ahead, Rob, before we move on. You heard us, Rob? I was saying we don't got a clear answer.
I did not say it again.
No, I was just saying we don't have a clear answer for you. You know, Justin and I are both looking at different parts of this. Spinning wheels, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, because there's so many issues, there's so many lingering factors in this that's kind of causing a problem. You don't know what the real problem, you don't know what the biggest problem is, you don't know what the first problem is to fix. This is what we do know. 2017 is where the problem started. It started in 2017 when you drafted the wrong guy. And I'm not trying to throw shots at Mitch. Like all jokes aside, I understand that's not Mitch's fault that he was drafted there. That's Ryan Pace's fault that he was drafted there. You took that guy way too high, and he wasn't ready for that spotlight. And now you had to ride this whole thing out. And now we're stuck in this situation where we're playing with a backup. Our backup is a starter now. When we all know this guy's really just the backup in the league. That's really all he is. And that's fine. Everybody has their role. But, of course it starts there. And Will, you and I talked about it, man. You know how I feel about Nagy. Like, I don't think Nagy may be a bad head coach. I don't think he's a great play caller. Me personally. I understand what you're saying as far as the pieces that he wants, the things that he sees in his head. But what I do know, and this is just from Little League coaching, what I do know is that you have to be able to make adjustments, man. When they come out and they got you tapped into a corner, what do? You go, all right, halftime is cool. I see it now. We're going to make these adjustments, come back out stronger. They're not going to understand what's happening when we come back out. And that's not happening. We're not making those adjustments. We don't see these guys, or we don't come out there the first half and go, all right, that was terrible. That's not working. So let's do this. Let's try X, Y, and Z as opposed to A, B, and C, because those didn't work. And you feel like it's the exact same offense you saw in the first half, in the first 4 or 5 games that you've seen in the 6th game, and it's the same result. You cannot continue to win without being able to put points on the board in this league today. You got to be able to score. And this also should be somewhat easier to score for you in this league today because all the rules are pointed toward the offense. They're like they guided toward the offense. There are more rules and penalties against the defense than it is the offense, and then you still can't figure it out. That's a problem, man. So yeah, I'm off my soapbox now. So we can move on to the next game if you want. Shout out to the Rams too for the win, man. Malcolm Brown did his thing. That's family, so I got to shout that out real quick. I'm done.
I got a bonus to this job, man. Y'all had one job to do. I need people in that division to lose. You had one job. Bears.
I'm sorry. I thought we said we're moving on. We still on this? Okay. All right. Yeah. They didn't do a job.
They did not do any job. I feel for that. Shut up. All right, Justin. Man, your turn, sir. Where do you want to start? Washington football team, the Dallas Cowboys,
Juggernaut.
the juggernaut, the Washington football team. The only time Scott's ever seen that offense, it was roaring. Ooh, boy, your thoughts on this one?
All right. Where do we start? I'm gonna take it back a little bit to what is it? We should go back to the Zeke draft. We decided to make our offense Romo friendly, and after picking Zeke, we decided we wanted to trade back. We tried to trade back in the first round a few times, to get Paxton Lynch. Didn't work out, fortunately. Then later on, stumbled and tried to get Connor Cook. Raiders cut us off and took Connor Cook. And so now it was between Dak Prescott and Cardale Jones. And Jerry was forced to take Dak Prescott. Tony gets hurt in preseason. Surprisingly, we find our next quarterback. If we pick Paxton Lynch, we crumble into flames, maybe fire some people and rebuild like we should have. But instead, Dak carried this bad franchise with Zeke. And, of course, can't forget the second-round pick, Jalen Smith. And a great story. Jalen Smith is a great comeback story that he can run in a straight line. But you paid him like an elite linebacker. That's one of the issues. Dak gets hurt. Not even Dak get hurt. You live in a team that's constantly trying to fix problems without looking at the actual picture. So we keep making these signings and upgrading the team, but you're forgetting about actually fixing the picture. It's a bad football team with nice hubcaps. So it's just a bad team. And we live this dream, we walk through the season, and somehow every year the odds are high, 10-1, 6-1 Dallas wins. And now I watch this team and you're like, this offense that can't move the ball against anybody looks like the old Theismann and Joe Gibbs Redskins. We can't tackle. We blow coverages. I mean, did you see the play when Terry McLaurin ran by Diggs? Insane. It's a terrible football team. I feel like I've said this, like I've had the same conversation before. It's a bad team. It's bad defense. Did you see the dude with the hot sauce, get the hot sauce in his eye during an interview? That's who runs your defense. That's the guy who's lining people up, watching the game. The dude who got hot sauce in his eye during the interview and had to tap out. They don't play hard, and they're blamed. And it's a bad team, man. And it's tough to watch. They need to tear it down, but unfortunately, Jerry won't. That's the problem. I mean, it all starts at the top, really. Jerry Jones is the problem. He's passing it down to his son, who was unqualified as he is. So it shows you money's not solving anything. And I mean, we talked yesterday about the contracts. DeMarcus Lawrence and Zeke, they're going to be there for the next 10 years. They can't move him. Cooper's going to be there. Can't move him. So this is what we have. And they have decent cap room, but the problem is that's not counting Dak. So how do you pay your quarterback who has a broken leg? So, I mean, when you don't handle your money properly, you just put yourself in a corner. And I mean, and they're in a corner, but they refuse to take that step back. You got to take a step back before moving forward, and they don't want to do that. So, fortunately, they're making a lot of money, but it's not going to benefit them. So I think that's where an interesting thing actually I heard was Parcells said when he left after he fixed it the first time, he said, they won't recognize that I was here 10 years from now. And he was talking about because Jerry won't allow that culture. He won't allow that culture. They stumbled upon Romo. They stumbled upon Dak. Those wasn't first round picks. Any success they had, they stumbled upon. The reason the offensive line was good was because they were building it for Romo. But then Romo got hurt, and it worked out. And now you overpaid all those guys, and you can't fix the defense. So it's just a cycle, man. I'm done. I'm done.
Man,
Sorry,
Rob, your thoughts?
I mean, man, hey, I feel for you, bro.
Yeah.
I really do, man. And honestly, Jerry Jones, like, I know that's sad. So I feel a little bit better. I mean, I feel bad for you, but I feel better about what we just a little bit, not much, just a little bit. But no, in all seriousness, man, like it definitely starts. It definitely starts at the top, man. If Jerry Jones, man, and as long as he's going to continue to keep doing what he's doing, you're going to keep seeing what you see on the field. Unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
And please, why didn't they pay Dak? Why didn't they pay Dak? That's one of the biggest questions I've had, and I'm not a Cowboys fan in the least bit. But what I do realize is that Jones did not want to pay Dak, but he was real quick to pay Romo. I'm not saying nothing, but I'm just saying something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to start no, but I'm just saying, man. And I don't think that guy is fit to run that organization anymore because it looks terrible. It looks terrible. The defense, oh my God, like that's just bad.
Yeah.
And then you can't do anything against the Washington football team. Like I know Dalton went out. What quarter did Dalton go out? Was that late in the game when he got hit?
That was late third, early fourth, maybe. Yeah, it was already 25-3. Yeah.
Okay, so he threw the ball 9 for 19 for 75 yards. Now, everybody got on top of Lamar Jackson when he did this a couple weeks ago, but Dalton is a vet. And his job is to pass. Like, that's what you do. We know you're going to throw the ball. At least Lamar can run 9 for 19 for 75 yards. That's what we doing? Okay. Yeah. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
Zeke toted the rock. I think Zeke had, 12 carries or something like that? He had like 40 yards, 45 yards, something like that, man. And I was honestly thinking, I started him that week in fantasy because I'm like, oh, Dalton's coming in. Zeke don't eat. Let's go. No, he didn't. Like, what's happening? I know the defensive line in Washington is nice. I know they got the young boys. I get all that. But 45 yards, 12 carries, that means you're not even trying to give him the ball. Just like last week, they stopped giving him the ball after he fumbled. I think he fumbled twice. And then I think McCarthy got mad. Was like a little league coach, like, oh, you're done. Like, dude, you know how much you paying this man? Get his ass back on the field. Give him the rock. I'm sure he'll make up for it. And then this week you did the same thing. I feel like they didn't want to use him. So I'm not really feeling Dallas right now and everything they got going on, man. Shout out to Washington though, because they got it done. They got it done. I'm sorry.
It's terrible, man. It's a culture. It's culture. It's culture. Losing breeds losing. That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's just.
And just so everybody know, Wilson's laughing at us because his team he had to go through all these trials and tribulations.
Hold on.
We know what it is. Don't play games.
No, hold on. I sat through Chip Kelly, Jim Tom Sula, and some other stuff. Y'all gonna let me enjoy Kyle and John as long as this goes. So I had to sit through Chip Kelly on purpose. No. I'm also not making fun of y'all. I'm just enjoying my life. I'm enjoying people that can problem solve, fix their errors, coexist like adults, work together, egoless to a degree. Just trying to keep the little owner in his little seat because he's the toddler. But outside of that, just, hey, look, man, I ain't messing with y'all. Leave me be, sir. I do nothing to you. I do nothing to you, sir. I do nothing to you at all, sir. Nobody messing with you. I've said nothing to you about what's going on. Like, I already know what it is. With your mob in that division, left you alone, sir. So I'd appreciate the same energy. That's all. It's nothing for me to say. There's nothing. I even empathize with people like Khalil Mack and Tayshaun Gibson and Eddie Jackson and folks with that caliber of defense that are being wasted because of a decision one man made that was so easy. Like, the worst part is why you were scouting Mitch, you had to run across the Clemson game. And you still did that. But, it's cool. It's whatever. With the Dallas thing with Justin, hopefully, you accidentally get a rebuild. But, it's not going to happen on purpose.
No.
It's not going to happen on purpose. You had to stumble into a rebuild. Like everything else over there.
Somebody got to be sacrificed. Yeah.
Oh, man. He already did get.
Somebody got to be sacrificed. Yeah.
The first one also already got sacrificed.
Yep.
He was out for a year.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. Man, look, I'm gonna leave that alone too. All right. The Niners beat the Patriots this week 33-6. I ain't got a whole bunch of stuff, so y'all can talk. I ain't really got much.
It was fun to watch. It was
Sorry.
like
I really just have one question.
What's up?
Just one question. What's going on in New England?
I mean,
like what do y'all think right now?
I mean, personally,
I think they'll be fine, honestly.
I think it's just one of the things where, like, you know, we were just sitting here talking about, like, with Dallas with the rebuild thing. It was going to happen at some point. It's happening.
You think so?
You know, I think COVID accelerated.
Yeah.
Because
last
year, what's it called? Like last year on offense, this team ain't that much better than it was on offense last year. It was trash last year with Tom under center, right, on offense. But they had an elite defense. You know who's not there this year? Stephon Gilmore ain't looking at Pierce back there on that side of the ball. It's just him and McCourty. They're missing a lot, you know? So, like, that hit them last year because for a while there, they were going back and forth with San Francisco, and they were the better scoring defense. Like, they were scoring defensively last year in New England. And, you know, again, you know, people weren't making a big deal about it because, you know, you weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
But that defense was scoring a couple times a game, it felt like, last year. So, I mean, that's the biggest difference. Like, on offense, they were garbage last year. You just weren't allowed to say it out loud, but they were garbage. They're garbage this year. But you're allowed to say it out loud this year. Another story, different day, whatever. But the defense is bad. And then, like, I think the other thing that caught up to them was their and I think before, like, you know, like they had so many versatile pieces up front in their front seven where they could match up with people or whatever. So, like, they can go small if they needed to. They can be big if they needed to. Because there's so many people that are out, they can't go big. So, like, their front seven's so small. Depending on the matchup, there's nothing them little dudes could do. Like, somebody was saying, I forgot who it was, and they were just saying, like, Bill's kind of playing mind games because he has to, from a number standpoint, with putting people in a box because you want to scare people to not run the ball. Because if you just run the ball at them, they can't do nothing. Like, they got interior defensive linemen that are, like, 275 right now. You know what I'm saying? But they trying to, you know, just trying to get you out of it. Like, oh, man, there's 7 people on the line. So run at all 7 of them. What they going to do? And that's just what happened this week. I don't think it was anything deeper than that. It was, you know, he's been doing the best with what he can do. And what I would be more concerned about is the fact that, like, they get all them folks back next year defensively, right? You're going to end up with a decent pick, and they get to reload quietly in a pandemic year. And then, mind you, all the teams that mismanage their money and their cap and are going to have to move people, they shouldn't have to move because they were bad, just bad teams doing bad things. Guess who's going to be there to take on bad contracts? It's just a year, folks. It's just a year. You got to remember, man, they think ahead, boy. And all them quarterbacks in the draft just falling and all this other type of stuff. Like, there's a possibility, depending on what happens in New England, they can go from Cam Newton to Justin Fields.
Right.
Like, it may be a possibility. I hate to be the person to say it, but these are things. The trade deadline's coming up. What do you think Stephon Gilmore would cost you? What do you think that would go for? You think Bill's tripping about, I don't have a veteran corner? They groom young DBs out there for the fun of it? Like, we don't always know their names. Before they got Stephon Gilmore, we didn't know who played corner. We just knew they had McCourty over the top. We never knew the corners' names. They weren't never bad. We just didn't know them. You know, now, and this is 2 years after J.C. Jackson, some of the other young corners they got. Yeah, I'd be more concerned with what they end up doing at the deadline because that's scary. That's really scary to me is, what if a Stephon Gilmore is available? What does that cost one person? What would you do if you're one of those teams where you got punched in the playoffs last year that Gilmore makes you think we can that'll put us over the hump, and you sell your soul? And they're like, why, thank you. We didn't want to pay him anywhere. The cap goes down next year. Stupid. So that's my whole thing.
Because you know there's definitely teams out there that's going to do it too.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the cap goes, I think it's like 175 or 178 next year, like, as of right now. If it goes up a little bit, it goes up. Either way, the cap's going to be substantially lower than it was this year. And teams are going to plan ahead accordingly. We're just going to watch bad teams either be stuck or be forced to do even stupider things. Like, people are going to be taking on dead money. It's just a matter of when you take it on. If you're smart, you take it on this year. But some teams, New Orleans, next year, like, that's the only reason I think Michael Thomas' name came up, because you're in trouble. You gave a lot of people. There's a lot of bad contracts on the Saints. Like, as of right now, it's like negative $81 million over there next year. Negative 81. So if, like, that's how you accidentally, I don't think Michael Thomas did anything to anybody. I know I heard he got to it with a teammate or whatever. Don't nobody care. You're making $100 million. I'm guaranteed you the teammate you got into it with is not making what you're making. The only reason it matters right now, they need an excuse to move something. They got Taysom Hill making $10 million.
Yeah, that's a bad contract.
And they got
that's
a
very bad contract.
But I'm saying they got a roster full of it. There's a lot of teams with that going on. So, like, even when you move people, you need to take the cap hit. And, you know, Justin and I were talking yesterday, it behooves you to take the cap hit this year because the cap's still kind of regular. It drops next year. You don't want to take that hit next year. So, again, I'm going to sit back, watch the trade deadline. It's going to be interesting because some teams can be sellers. Some teams can't. You know, and also another thing, and not to doom and gloom on Tampa Bay fans or whatever, bro, the only reason this worked right now at this moment, a lot of the people on that defense, all those kids, they're on rookie deals. Y'all gonna have to pay Devin White. You're gonna have to pay Chris Godwin. Mike Evans gonna want his bread, or he gonna leave because he's not being used like he used to be used. Them corners that you have, they gonna want their bread. The people up front, I want my money. It's a top defense right now, right? How long the top defenses stay together? The top dogs stay. Everybody don't. Can't keep them together. And your quarterback making like 35? Again, I'm just going to sit back, looking next year because it's going to get crazy. It's going to get nuts. So I'm not even tripping on New England. And I also wouldn't be foolish enough to say that New England's dead for the rest of the season either. Everyone else on their schedule, are you going to be patient enough to really just run the ball that much and be able to stop them from running the ball? So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just not like, I just have faith in the dude over there while everyone's taking shots at Bill right now. They still a couple steps ahead, man. I guarantee they got more than enough picks. And again, if you flip Gilmore, I know you're getting something lovely back. A couple lovely things back. It's the defensive player of the year last year. They're getting something.
I kept seeing it. His name kept coming up out here as far as the Bears were looking at trading for Gilmore. And I'm like, I mean, I like that, but we need offensive stuff. We don't need – I mean, it's not like I don't want to say we don't need Gilmore because, like you said, he was a defensive player of the year past year. But we also have a problem with draft picks. Okay? So we can't be in that same deal that you're talking about right now. Yeah. But there's definitely going to be some teams out there trying to lobby for this guy. And I know Bill got, like you said, he got something up his sleeve. So I'm not worried. It just felt like there was a panic this week with everybody. You know how people overreact to stuff.
I mean, but
it felt like it was a panic. And then they're looking at Cam and they're trying to put all that weight on Cam. Like, you know, Cam had been the same since he came back from COVID. I'm like, well, let's be honest. Let's really look at this offense and tell me right now if you think that Cam has the weapons to actually beat Cam. Or anybody has the weapons to be a good quarterback in this system right now.
I mean, you know what I mean? The other thing that happened on Sunday, again, where it's easy to blame Cam, and he does deserve some blame, they got out-coached on both sides of the ball. Like, Robert Saleh had Josh McDaniels in like punishment. He was in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, people were sitting on everything they were doing. That's not on Cam. They were just sitting on everything.
Right.
But they put a linebacker on Julian Edelman and went on with their lives. Josh McDaniels. Just being honest, sir. They literally, you know, the little Ziploc containers you put your food in? They just calmly put your little offense in the box, all the fun stuff you like to do. Told their pass rushers just don't get upfield. If he run, you take care of it. Relax. Severius took Nikhil out the game early. Boy caught the ball and was like, oh, they hitting. I ain't coming back. I'm done. And that was that. Like, but again, you're a great offensive mind. I want the same energy that was passed along to our coach the week before when they was going through it. Josh McDaniels, you always in the running for head coach and stuff. This is why you're forever a coordinator in my eyes.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
There
was no adjustments the entire time. You were literally in punishment. Saleh was just like, nah, dog. Like I put McVay's offense in the box. You're definitely not going to bother me, Josh McDaniels.
Right.
And again, they just got outcoached on both sides of the ball. There's nothing else to it. But again, that part's getting ignored, like really widely ignored. But hey, it is what it is. People are gonna do what they're gonna do. But yeah, I'm just thinking ahead, kind of like I'm just looking with everything going on. I'm like, what are they about to get? What are they about to get that they have no business having going into next year? That's just my thought process. Because it's, you never pick up the phone when they call when they're good. I'd be really scared to pick up the phone when things are going bad right now.
Right.
Because they hustle people when they're good. What do you think he's going to do on the other side of things when he calls? Matter of fact,
it's going to be fun to watch it. I know that much. I'm going to sit there and laugh at the headlines every time something come up.
I mean, what's it called? Let's be honest. How does Gilmore go from a division rival to you? Ain't the man come from the Bills? You traded arguably the best corner of football in the division. This is something they pulled off, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, I am worried sick about what they can do. I'm worried sick. They've been in control of your life for 15 years, and you were like, take our most prized possession, please take it. Yes, I'm concerned for everyone's well-being. This is dangerous. All the little pieces, like this is the other thing. They're so light up front right now, right? With the people that are gone, they got like 17 defensive ends, right? Ain't a lot of contenders hungry right now looking for edge rushers. Boy, they about to do selling. You about to see Shalik Calhoun get moved for like a third for no reason, just because people thirsty out here for edge rushers. Oh, you really do want them? Give me a third and a fifth. Oh, the money doesn't work? Throw a player. And a sixth. Yeah.
And the sixth, right.
It's
sprinkle that six on top. Just
y'all laughing. This is what I'm worried about. I'm looking at the trade, but I'm like,
but it's the truth, though. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the roster like it's nothing but assets, right?
Yeah.
Cool. They're gonna end up with some young wide receiver they got no business having.
But at the same time, though, how confident are you that the Bills are locked to win that division? Like,
I'm not confident in them at all.
Because at the same time, sometimes the matchup makes you look uglier than it really, really does. Like I think that was a bad matchup. So you kind of got, and then the week before you had Cam coming off the injury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so who's to say where they really are? Like I'm just not really quick to throw in the top. I mean, they might trade Gilmore and still win the division. But like,
and I think you brought up a great point. So they've played Seattle, one of the top teams in the league already. They've played Kansas City. You just played San Fran, whatever they're going through. They was just in the Super Bowl. You played some heavy hitters already. I'm not about to tell you that you're in trouble when you've been running that trash division for years.
Yeah. But that same bad defense should have beat Kansas. Had Kansas City beat without Cam. So
facts. even the Seattle game. Yep. You were a bad choice by the quarterback on the run play. I thought it was a bad play, period. But whatever. In that game. You were right there, right? Dude, that's scary. Like, none of those teams are in your freaking division. What is everybody doing? Russell Wilson's not in that division. Kyle Shanahan ain't calling plays against you in that division. Kansas City, not in your division. But Buffalo, New York, Miami, them people in your division. Those people, you still got to deal with New England. All the other stuff that just happened, and they're in the AFC.
Right.
Some of them things that the NFC L's, it doesn't even matter. It literally means nothing right now. The NFC got a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. That's not the AFC.
Right.
Like you said, Justin, it's people worried about the wrong stuff at the moment. Like, it's too early to write them off. Like, they haven't even got to the mix of their division stuff.
Right.
And it's not like the divisions you're not in the freaking NFC West where everybody got 5 wins or 4 wins or something like that. You're chilling.
But like handle your business in a division you've dominated for years. That's all it comes down to. Right now they're 1-0 in division. That's it.
And that's the dumbest part about all of this. All your losses are to non-divisional opponents.
Right.
What are we doing here?
Right.
You don't got to play Seattle again unless you end up there. You don't got to see Kyle's sticky face.
Unless you end up there.
Yeah.
A lot of these people you don't got to see. And if you see Kansas City again, it's because you're close to where you want to be. So,
right.
And there's an extra playoff spot. What are we doing, folks? What are we doing? What are we doing? You're 1-0 in your division. Everybody going crazy. So what if, just hear this out. What if they're healthy for the next couple of weeks and there's a semblance of continuity? Then what? Also, you're not playing these teams that you just had to freaking play. In which you were in all of those. The only game that you got embarrassed in was the San Fran one.
Right.
You were in the Seattle one. You were in the Chiefs one without Cam. So that's one time you got blown out. Everybody going crazy. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. They got blown out before what other dude was there. You know, he just wasn't allowed to say anything.
And that's my thing. And that's why I was trying to figure out, because I'm going, why is everybody tripping? Like, they benched Cam and like why is everybody panicking?
They've done the same thing the time before when there was no hope of winning the game because they got mud stomped. It's happening.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
But what you're not going to tell me is that Bill really about to play sit up on purpose. Stop it. Bill walked over to Cam and was like, look, bro, it's the end of the day. Promptly, Dum comes in and throws a pick. No, there's not a quarterback controversy, bro. Relax.
Right.
My man got 4 interceptions in 20 attempts this year. What are y'all talking about?
That's
special.
Yeah.
That's
overreaction.
Talent. All right, on to the schedule for this week coming up, man, because it should be kind of a fun week. We'll got some fun games, got some games that aren't too much fun for some people. All right, let's knock this out real quick. Here we go with the schedule. We got the Falcons and the Panthers. Was that tonight? Oh, man, real quick about the Falcons. Why is Denver through it? I've never seen it. It's like 151 ways to lose a game. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of impressed with Atlanta because they're showing us things we've never seen before. Like when that audio came out of Matt Ryan talking to Gurley saying, "Don't score, don't score, don't score." This fool scored, and I was like, "Okay, so maybe I gotta leave Matt Ryan alone a little bit because I used to hold him so bad." And now I'm starting to look around. I'm going, maybe it's not him. Maybe it's the other people around him sometimes. Because you can't, how many other ways can I say don't score?
I mean, broke a tackle to get in the end zone.
He broke a tackle.
He's finished shaking somebody. He was like, when you break a tackle, you know you got to get another 5 yards.
No, this is the time that you don't.
Does Gurley got something in his contract coming up with the yards this season?
Yeah, you ain't gonna punish me for scoring a touchdown.
My man said, I'm gonna get my numbers. This is on you, Quinn.
Get this quick 100 real quick, right?
All right, look, like 5.2. Might as well get this 30.
Yeah. He gonna act like he was falling on accident, like I forgot.
Slow motion.
And then you fell with the left hand, right? With your left hand.
I'd have fumbled the ball or something, man. Like, move the ball back, bro. Like, what are we doing?
You had enough time to just literally calm down and take a knee, man. But all right, so we got the Falcons and the Panthers, and literally I'm gonna go with my company line for the entire year for Falcons. Let's just tune in. I'm not tuning in, but pretty much tune in to see how they can lose another game. It's like Final Destination.
It's reached that level. It's reached that level. Like before, it was like a little joke, but it's like real.
Nah, it's real.
It's real.
It is legit real, and that's the other thing. A lot of people are like, you can't move people because of the cap or whatever. Man, be real honest, man. Ain't no fans in the stadium. If I got to take the cap hit, so what? You can't boo me. I can hear you. You're not here.
You know what? I got an interesting point I thought of was there's you got good teams, you got bad teams. Like the one thing you can say about Carolina is I'd rather be a bad team that's building. You know what I mean? They're a young team, but they're building something. You know what I mean? They play hard. They may lose some, but they're on the upward trend as opposed to other teams like like mine or different ones.
Hey, your voice get all low.
like the Cowboys. Teams that they got a future. They got a break.
Now I got you, and got to give them credit a little bit for like how quickly they're able to reshuffle. I ain't agree with all the reshuffling they did. That's their business. But to able to bring in Teddy real quick, and CMC's been out. I think they get him back this week. Some of the moves that they made, but in a year like this, new coach, all that new stuff, man. You 3-4, whatever. You definitely show them a little bit of love for that. Again, this is a game that actually matters because looking at the Bills where they've been struggle busting since getting out to a quick start. That hot start. Reality kind of hit them, and we're here now. So the Patriots 2-4, the Bills 5-2. Who you guys liking this one?
You got it, Rob.
I like New England for the bounce back on this one. My bad. I'm sorry. I like New England for the bounce back on this one. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing in Buffalo. I don't know what's going on out there, but I feel like they kind of, like you said, the wheels are starting to fall off a little bit. And I got too much faith in that coach over there in New England, man. I'm gonna roll with New England.
I agree with I'm gonna agree with Rob on that. I think the thing with the Bills is for them to have success against that defense, they got to play a different style that they're not used to. And again, a lot of those wins early, we didn't want to delve into what was really happening. It was a lot of fluky things, and Allen was playing by Allen. Allen's Allen. You know what I mean? You get the highs and the lows. They just got a lot of highs early. So at some point, does it balance? Do we hit a balance point where the defense isn't as good as it normally is? So, I mean, it could turn. It could really turn for them. So hold them MVP votes. Some of them people might want to take them MVP votes back.
They shouldn't have been there to begin with. Like what's it called? Like you live dangerously. Like they're literally like the NBA equivalent of like live by the 3, die by the 3.
Yeah,
the man just be throwing the ball up. So
can't work every time. Yeah.
It's not gonna work every time. This might be a Patriots game. Gilmore has a couple pitches, something like that. When they're gonna bounce back, they just got embarrassed. That's not about how they go about their business. Secondly, it's a division game. You're 1-0 in the division. You get this, you're 2-0. This would legitimately mean everything that happened prior to this literally doesn't freaking matter.
Right.
You take care of your division, you're fine. You win your division. Last time I checked, put you in the playoffs, right?
With a home game. With a home game.
With a home game. Interesting how that works. We got the Titans and Bengals. Shout out to my man Joe Burrow and T. Higgins out there. It looked like they got something special. Not only if their front office continue to put the right things around them, but the Titans, coming off their missed field goal away from being undefeated. Shout out to my man going wide right there a little bit against the Steelers. But yeah, Titans and Bengals. I'm probably going Titans in this one. You guys?
I'm gonna go with the Titans. Titans are a good football team.
I got the Titans.
They play good ball. I mean, like to see a team go down the way they did in that first half and come back, like that's what separates the good teams or the great teams from the bad teams. They could have easily, walked away and said, "Hey, not our day today." They came back, and if it wasn't for their Hall of Fame kicker, who's been kicking himself out the Hall of Fame now, but if it wasn't for that, we're in overtime. Who knows? But the momentum they have, maybe they win that game. So, kind of just they even in a loss, they showed themselves to be a real threat.
Yeah, and I really like the way that they kind of they stayed themselves. They remained themselves while trying to come back in that game. They didn't get out of character doing all types of wild stuff like, oh man, we're down. Let's throw the ball even more. Nah, they're like, we're just going to end this thing off. We're going to play Titan football. You're going to have to live with it. And sure enough, Ben gave them some opportunities to make some plays and whatnot, and that's where they ended up. We got the Rays and the Browns. This is the, Baker's coming off the big game where, he really rebounded, had a big second half. They lost Odell in the process. The Browns at 5-2. And then the Raiders, they're out here just – you never know with them, man. It's a toss-up. Sometimes they look decent. Sometimes they look like the Raiders. But you guys thoughts on this one real quick.
Well, hence the 3-3 record. you really don't know what team you're gonna get. Like honestly, that was perfect for what their record is. Well, I'm gonna go with the Browns though, man. I don't know. I think Baker. I think they have a little bit less pressure on them with not having to worry about trying to force that ball into Odell. I'm not saying Odell was the problem and all. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I just think he's got one less thing he's got to focus on, and I think he'll be able to play a little bit better. And he actually played decent football this past weekend, man. So I'm gonna go with the Browns on this
one. Justin,
I'm gonna go with the Raiders on that one, just because I feel like last week's game didn't. Let's say it didn't count, but you had your whole offensive line out with COVID, so I mean that's kind of important. And you played a team that's on a roll in the Bucks. I mean the Bucks look tough right now, so the Raiders are a good team, and the Browns really only beaten up on bad teams. You know what I mean? Anytime they've played a good team, they've got stomped. So I feel like Raiders are coming off. I'm going back to that Chiefs game. The team that beat the Chiefs. So and plus, 3-3, 1 up, 1 down is time for a win.
Facts, right? That's pretty much it. 50% every week. Yeah, I'm probably also gonna go with the Raiders. I'm interested to see how Baker could go into the next game, kind of build off last week, and not have to rebound. Like that's the biggest thing for them, man. They're a very talented team. It's on him,
right?
It's just on him. Whether Odell's there, not there, whatever, get it done. You do your job. Y'all in a good place. Like we saw in that second half, where you're going nuts. I know it's a Bengals difference, whatever. You go nuts. There's nothing but weapons. The fact you lose Odell and people are still able. It's not like it was hard. It was hard to move the ball. Still, people are still wide open. People are still making plays. Got a lot of playmakers over there. We got the Colts and the Lions. The Lions are another one of them teams. Sometimes they find a way to lose games. Sometimes they accidentally win them. Don't know. And the Colts, we still, at least for me, I'm still trying to kind of figure out exactly who they are because I feel like I know what they would like to do, but we don't always see it every week.
I'm gonna go with the Lions on that one. I'm a big Stafford guy, man. The way he brought. I mean, it was the Falcons, but the way he brought them down the field at the end of that game was impressive. And even though I have a feeling they're gonna come to the end of the season and that what's gonna cost them that playoff spot is gonna be that loss to old Maserati. For opening day might be what cost them a playoff spot. But Lions are a solid team, and Rivers. I'm just not sold on Rivers yet.
Rob?
Yeah, same thing. As much as I don't really like Detroit, just because of guys, but I think they'll go ahead and take the W on this. I don't know what the Colts are. I'm not really sure what they are. I know defensively they're decent, but Matthew Stafford, he's been playing well, man. So he finds ways to come back in games too. Like you can't really ever count him out like that. When I say play well, I mean like he hasn't been hurt yet. Let me say that. He hasn't been hurt yet, but he's like he'll do enough to get your team to put your team into a position to win. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna choose the Lions on this one. Believe it or not, it's weird, but
all right. Moving on to the next game. This is a Rob's division game. I did not know that the Vikings were 1-5.
Is that why you made that face?
I looked at it.
I saw you scrolling like, oh wait.
No, it's nothing you said, sir. Trust me. Wow.
Well, I'm gonna choose Green Bay.
Yeah.
They wanted that guy up there, man, in Minnesota. They wanted that quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Justin. I ain't got nothing, man. They won 5. Wow.
Hey. But think about where they came from when they brought him in. That was an NFC Championship team with Case Keenum, and now we're here. I'm gonna go with the Pack.
Oh my goodness! And then what I don't get is like you accidentally fell into Justin Jefferson, right? And if there was ever a way to try to make up for Diggs, obviously you can't. That's a hell of a step in the right direction. You stumbled into that, and you won 5.
Yeah.
You got 2 tight ends, one of the best dual all-around backs in the league in Dalvin. I did not know they were 1-5. I also don't pay attention to them too much, but 1-5. All right, so y'all remember the conversation we were having a little bit earlier about teams selling? I am now very intrigued come the deadline about Minnesota. You're behind the Lions. You're done. Your year's
it's over with.
Yeah,
I've heard Thielen was on the block.
But I'm saying with what you're paying, who, man, it got to be more than Thielen.
Yeah.
Like you gotta like this is, and that's what I was talking about with some of these teams, bad teams doing bad things, because I know they were quote unquote a good team, but every time they made the playoffs, they took an L, right? So clearly you weren't good enough to actually contend for real. You were playing contender. So you wasted all that time, and like Justin said, you're here now. You're here now. All those bad contracts on that team, all those aging folks on defense, you still got to pay. Like you got a really good safety in Anthony Harris. I know Harrison Smith's still around. He good, man, but he old. You still got to pay him. Goodness, man, that's crazy. That's hilarious. I'm sorry. Jets, Chiefs, cool. Good thought. Got the Rams and Dolphins. I'm kind of intrigued about that one. Not because of the Rams, but just because it's Tua's first start.
Yep.
So that should be interesting, and just because I'm anxious to see what Brian Flores does to the Rams defensively, because what he did to the Niners defensively was similar to what the Patriots did to the Rams in the Super Bowl. Brian Flores was the defensive coordinator at that point. To take away the run game to try to make Goff beat them, that should be interesting. They got a couple good corners where, you saw what they did to San Fran that week where they put the pause on them. Obviously, the Rams don't have Brian Allen playing the secondary, so that's always good. You don't got to here, you start up 21 points. But I'm interested to see how the Dolphins make life difficult for that Rams offense, if they can. And then, obviously, on the other side, how Tua and company look trying to move the ball against the freaking Rams, man. You guys?
So I think I know, Justin. I know, right? So I'm gonna go with the Rams on this one, only because defensively, I think Tua and those guys may struggle a little bit against that defense. I'm not really more so worried about the offensive production from the Rams. It's really more so about how many points can they put up. I think they're gonna have the same kind of struggle as far as trying to score against their defense, because you got a brand new quarterback coming in. He's still got to get his feet wet, trying to figure this game out, the speed of the game out. And he, of course, first game he's starting, it's up against Aaron freaking Donald. So good luck. I hope he don't die. I hope he's able to survive next week. But I think it might get ugly for a minute.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins on this one. More so, probably a little more hope than anything. But I feel like the Flores is the type of coach, man, that he's not making a move because they're telling him he's got to make this move. Like I feel like he's the type of coach where it's like he feels like Tua gives him the best chance. It's not, hey, Herbert's. People make it sound stupid. Hey, Herbert's playing well, so Miami got to play Tua. Flores is the guy that brought Fitzpatrick back in last year when they were supposed to let Rosen play. Like Flores is about winning. He's the closest thing they've had to Belichick. Of all the fake Belichicks. He runs his program that way. So he wouldn't be playing Tua if he didn't think he was the better quarterback. And again, with the Fitzpatrick stuff, it's nice and all, but you are 3-3. To be playing a 42-year-old guy when you're 3-3, he ain't doing nothing that special. They played well against Seattle, and he lost that game. They played well against New England. He lost that game. So it's a 3-3 team that could be 5-1. So I'm not gonna say Fitzpatrick is a special thing. So Tua has a chance to make a couple big plays. He's gonna have some growing pains. You just hope that he's smart enough to get down. Not try to do too much. And the things that worked in college ain't gonna work the same in the pros. But again, he's an accurate passer, and they can run their little RPO stuff and get the running game going. And again, the defense. They're gonna be a defensive team, and rely on him to make some big plays to hopefully steal the game.
Yeah, and the other thing for the Dolphins, man, this is house money. Whatever happens, happens. The worst case that happens here is Tua plays, you find out you made a mistake. Sorry, Rob, and you can fix it already. Best case scenario, you find out Tua is your guy, and you go into next year with other people's picks, and you get him more. You reunite with him with one of his former college wideouts, because he was throwing the 4 NFL wide receivers in college.
Yep.
Right.
So oh my gosh, let's go get our franchise quarterback weapons. Oh gosh, we made a bad pick. Let's go get another franchise quarterback. They're fine, folks. And there's rumors that they're shopping Xavier Howard. Again, New England folks going to do New England folks things. right? Drafted a couple corners, paid Byron Jones some money. Xavier Howard coming off the injury. He played enough that people know he's healthy now. Which one of your desperate teams need a corner? Send us more picks. Please. Thank you. We appreciate it. Sign management. We got the Saints and the Bears. The Saints, be real honest here, man. Just like every year, I don't care what they got going on. I don't believe nothing. Nothing. They're like a street vendor in Vegas or something. You just keep walking past them. Don't care. I just never believe them. It doesn't matter. Whatever they do to me, to like a large degree, it always falls short later on. But Rob, this is, they playing your team. You got a 4-2 team taking on a 5-2 team. What you got happening here, man?
Man,
I don't know my personal biases.
As much as I want to pick my Bears, I'm so disappointed in the way their offense is playing right now. It's hard to pick them in the game like this. I thought they had a better chance of being able to match up better with the Rams just because defensively, as you can see, you got Mac, you got Donald on one side, you got Mac on the other side. It's like, okay, this is going to be a good defensive battle. But then we couldn't score the ball. So it's like, I don't want to take that chance with Drew not being able to score the ball because they're going to put up points. If you keep giving him the opportunity, he's going to find a way to put up points. I know it's a home game for Chicago. I'm gonna pick the Saints in this game, hoping that my pick will be flipped another way around.
Bulletin board material. Yeah.
And we can get to win.
And you're trying to use psychology to get out of here. That's tough. Just to you.
Right.
And the Bears might be the worst 5-2 team in the history of football. When I seen the 2 losses, I was shocked. I'm like, they only got 2 losses. But you know what? This is the type of game they can win, though, because Drew's limited. The Bears say, okay, you know what? This guy's not throwing deep. Let's bring Eddie down. Let's bring Eddie Jackson, put him down, and let's take Kamara out the game. I think the Bears are a good defensive team. You get a turnover early and just lay on them. Just slow grind them into the ground. And, hopefully Nick just plays. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Win this game 17-10 or 20-21, 20-17, something like that. And keep it moving. I mean, this is one of them games for y'all that could swing the season because you figure 6 wins. Now the playoffs are close. Now it's like, okay, we're getting close to that magic number because it ain't even about winning division or whatever. It's 9 wins. You shoot for 9 wins, you're probably in. So this is a big one for y'all.
Yeah. So I don't have any. Again, I never picked the freaking Saints or Packers or Vikings about anything.
I think that's what I think that was my thing too. And I seen Saints, I'm like, dang, Saints.
Yeah. I just don't like. I guess my thing is I just never believe them. Like they should ideally they should beat the Bears, but again, it's a good defense. The Bears are also a defense that if you do turn it over, they know their offense is bad, so they kind of make sure that they score when they get turnovers. The Bears defense knows exactly what it is. Like if we get our hands on this, crib.
Yeah, everybody blocking.
Or at least let's get in field goal range. So the worst thing we get is 3 points. And I feel like I see that on their that's the intent they have every time they get their hands on the ball. It's like, bro, we at least getting 3. We at least getting 3. We at least getting 3. Like they know exactly where their kicker's range is. Shout out to them. And if we get a couple of these, that's 9. If we get if one gets all the way back, that's 6. Like
the crazy thing is about that defense is that we've had opportunities for turnovers for scores, but they keep getting called back because of penalties or whatever the case may be. So it's the opportunity is there. We just can't capitalize on it. So hopefully maybe this is the game where that changes. Because that's what I really want to see. I want to see our defense being able to grab that turnover and take it in for 6, man. Because we need a boost. When you put your child in the seat in the booth and they too small, they can't see over the table come up to here. You put them in the booster seat. That's where our offense needs right now. We need a booster seat, and so that's where Mac and those guys come in. Strip sacks, interceptions. That's our booster seat, and so we can go ahead and get in the end zone and start putting up points. It's sad. Oh, it's damn sad. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it no more.
All right. Now the Seahawks. Look, man, I never picked the Niners against the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, he owns the Niners, 13-4 career record for San Francisco, including the playoffs. It's up to him whether we win or lose. So I will find out Sunday night, depending on how he feels. They also just lost to the Cardinals, so we will definitely see. The one thing I like in our favor, their defense is garbage. Even when healthy, trash. I don't care about Carlos Dunlap being there. Also,
no, it's terrible.
Doesn't matter.
Terrible.
Jamal Adams probably their best pass rusher. Cool story, bro. Don't care.
He's still out? Is he still out?
I don't know. He might be back for this game. Who cares? Like, what's he gonna do? Chase the passer? Like, or guard someone? Like, who cares? Who cares? What are you gonna put him on? You gonna put him on Kittle? You can put their cover. You can put their corners on Kittle. So what? Yeah, just Russell scares me. The DK and the Tyler thing scares the living bejesus out of me. Also, Russ, for me personally, is Michael Myers. No matter how much we're up by, we're in danger. You're not safe. He will find you. He will catch you. He will finish you. Last year, what happened? Jimmy plays a perfect game in Seattle. You know what happened? Dre Greenlaw had to make the stop of his life on the goal line to get out that game. Why? Because Russell Wilson is a supervillain.
Yeah.
He's a supervillain. He's a freaking supervillain. I have nothing else. So I expect 4-4. That's me. You guys can go ahead. Again, he owns us. We should be 14-4 after Sunday night.
I'm gonna go with. Go ahead, Justin.
I think Russ made some real questionable decisions on Sunday, and that kind of bothered me. But he just that deep ball, man. His ability, he's like you said, he just finds a way to make plays. And then like the matchup wise, defensively, they're so bad. But no Debo is what bothers me. It's what scares me because the identity we talked about it the other day. What he does to the other team, like seeing that Patriots game, like he dominated that game without even catching passes. You know, the little touch pass and all that. But Debo takes that offense to another level. And their weakness is I feel like you can get them with some deep balls, but you guys don't play that game.
Nope.
And that's one of the things that scares me. It's like you're relying on too many plays and something where Jimmy steps in, or can Jimmy make the play action and keep the sticks moving. But I don't see 49ers giving up, over 30. So I would think, 49ers maybe 28-24, 28-27. That's one. I'm gonna go on 49.
Sounds good. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Seattle, man. Russ is doing what Russ is doing, man. Like their defense is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
But
Russell Wilson does not care. Don't worry about it. Hold on. Yeah, strap on, y'all ready? He's figured this thing out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, he's playing out of his mind this year, man. And like the deep ball threat, that's gonna be a problem. Because I don't think that there's anybody can actually stop that. Especially when you got DK on the other end of that, man. And you see how he went through Stephon Gilmore a couple weeks ago, which is no problem. No problem whatsoever. Only thing is that DK is just young. So he's gonna have some bonehead plays here and there. But for the most part, he's gonna do enough to put Russell in a good position. And Russ is definitely gonna get the ball to him without a problem. And then Tyler Lockett, you still gotta worry about him, which is crazy to me because it's like Russ finds this guy no matter what. No matter what, and he's gonna do his work. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be closer than what Wilson may be thinking. But I definitely think Seattle's gonna come out on top.
Nah, it's always close. That's why it hurts. It's always close. It's always close. I'm not worried about it. It only hurts because it's close. They're even usually trailing when they finish it. The best part. Oh, you thought you were alive. Get over here. That's how they finish things.
Right.
The one thing that I do think is interesting in this game is the fact that Tyler Lockett, he scores touchdowns against San Fran, but he doesn't go off like he did against typically. Kawan Williams plays him really well. I don't know why. It's really weird. But KK does a really good job against them. The other thing that is interesting is there's no Sherman this game, and the Niners this year have been so different and diverse in their coverages because they've played a lot more men. So that's going to be interesting to me. Still, I don't care. It's Russell Wilson. Moving on. Cowboys, Eagles. And we're bringing this up because someone got to win that.
Yeah.
Somebody got to win that division. So, Justin.
Well, due to the fact that Ben DiNucci is starting for the Cowboys.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I should have taken this game off this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me take that off.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
I'm even gonna scroll past it. I'm sorry. Forgot about that part.
Big Ben. Oh,
Yeah,
Big
on-
Ben.
Well, hold on. Because last week, and they almost won that game. like I don't have that much faith in the Eagles either.
True.
This game might go into overtime. It might be another tie.
No, man. Ben DiNucci, man.
I promise you, the Eagles will be 2-4-2. That's just the luck of this division, man. 2-4-2.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm gonna be mature here and move on. Steelers Ravens.
You think he called for a tie? He called for a tie?
Yeah.
I got a question.
It's gonna be a tie.
Outside of the fans of those two teams, who's watching?
Sunday night, man.
Yeah, they gotta flex that game.
No, they don't. No, leave it there.
They should.
No. I do not want to watch Russell do what he does in prime time to me. So do not flex that game.
What about
No,
this?
no, no, no.
What about this one? This one. Put this one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That would be fine, but they're not moving that. CBS is not giving up a quality game for y'all. They do not have time for y'all. CBS is like, we don't believe in flexing stuff. We'll see you guys at 1 p.m. at M&T Bank Stadium. Steelers, Ravens, 6-0, Ravens 5-1. This should be fun, man. You know, the Steelers coming off the big win against the Titans. You know, they've had moments where they look really special. They got moments where, you know, it hasn't been sweet to 6-0 for them. They've been kind of rocky, but their defense has been the constant. Their defense was, once they got Minka last year, the defense kind of got going. This year, you know, they've had them the whole year this year, so they've been kind of building off it. That pass rush is real up front. The corners are still kind of shaky, but again, that pass rush is what it is. You got Minka popping up any and everywhere. The young linebacker Devin Bush out there eating. It should be fun. And then you got the Ravens where you never know with them because Greg Roman, so you never know. If he's on, it's gonna be a fun game. If he's him, you know. But again, it should be a really fun matchup for two teams who's gonna have a big say in how things shake out in AFC later on this year. So Rob, you can go first in this one.
I like the Steelers in this game too. Even though I know Baltimore's at home, but I don't, like I said, I already don't really put too much into the, you know, home crowds and all that stuff, especially right now. But I think the Steelers are just, they're on that roll. And I don't know what Baltimore team is going to show up because the loss that they had was bad. And they're going up against probably one of the toughest defenses in the league right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my wager on the Steelers, man. They're gonna end up going 7-0 on this one.
I'm gonna go with Rob on that. I'm going with the Steelers also. I feel like that defense is gonna give them a good match just off the strength of you get somebody like Minka playing in the box who can, not saying he can match Lamar, but he's a smart player and he can, you know, play the angles and they play a good team defense. I feel like that'll help. And he loves to work the middle of the field. So now you're putting your best player in the middle of the field. Now you got Watt. You got a lot going on with that defense, but then you add in with Big Ben being back in that offense. Steelers are tough, man. You know, Deontay Johnson, he's special, man. Good player. And you throw in Claypool. So I mean, they've become a really good offense. You know, we weren't expecting it, but they've become a dangerous offense.
Nah, for sure. And you know the rule. You can't never give Ben a tall wideout with speed or a tall wideout, period. That's usually all he needs.
Right.
Whether, you know, they're a little slow with it or not, they figure that thing out. Yeah, it's a dangerous offense. The only thing I worry about is like you guys say, you know, what Baltimore team's going to show up. You know, the Steelers offense when it's on is great. When he's off, you know, you saw some of them plays in the Tennessee game. You know, Baltimore, some of those Mohawks over there, those passes kind of need to be on point, right? So, I mean, it's kind of really going to come down, as cliche it is, just who takes care of the ball better. and just executes offensively, because it's going to be tough for both teams offensively to get things going against these defenses. You got that pass rush, but no disrespect to Ryan Tannehill or whatever. TJ Watt, when you come around the corner this week, that man, that's a different thing. It's a different thing maybe for you on the other side of that. And to Ben's thing, it's a little bit different, from last week with Tennessee's corner where Marcus Peters out here lurking. That man's, he got the ball skills of an elite wideout. It's tough. So it should be fun. It should be interesting. I don't think they got Yannick Ngakoue for this game, but Baltimore got that popping up in the coming weeks as well. So that should be fun. We got the Chargers and Broncos, both teams 2-4, man. I ain't about to spend a whole bunch of time on that. We got two young quarterbacks. The Chargers definitely got some promise. But I mean, you guys can go ahead with this. I don't got much.
I'm go Chargers. Just they look like they got some energy with Herbert in there. I'm not really standing by it, but if I had to choose, I would take Herbert over Lock in this game.
Right, Rob. All right. Can you hear me, Rob, or not?
Same. I would say the same thing. Chargers over the Broncos.
Okay.
It's not a whole lot to really say about this game. Like you said, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
All right. No, I was saying I got the Chargers in this game. It's not a whole lot to go off of. This is really a coin flip. So the Chargers' energy right now, and they're feeling Herbert. And I don't know, Drew Lock, he looks a little lost in the offense sometimes. I don't know if it's Fangio and the coaching staff. I'm not really sure what, but I got more faith in Chargers and what they're going to do this week and them pulling out their victory.
All right, last but not least, we got the Bucs and the Giants.
Dang, that's Monday night too, huh?
Yeah, that's Monday night. All right, we can end this now. Want to thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week. Like, that's really the Bucs and the Giants. I think we all know how this is going to end. Daniel Jones and company should be 1-7. Hopefully, if he gets out in the open field again, he doesn't fall on his face. I doubt he gets an open field against the Bucs defense. Just a matter of how many points the Bucs put up. So 1-7 for the Giants, 6-2 for the Bucs. Even worst case scenario, I'm talking about catastrophic injuries and whatnot. The Giants should still do what they do best. They should still end up 1-7 here. There's nothing to worry about in the least bit. So I want to thank Rob Brown and Justin Walters for joining us tonight. See you guys next week on NFL Weekly Review.